Jo Page has been a live performer for over 15 years and she attended the CMAA Academy of Country Music in 2023. She has just released her first single, Fire in His Eyes. I actually can't believe it's her first single because it's so accomplished and it's fantastic. And she has a fantastic Christmas tree. Hello, Jo.
Hello, how you going, Sophie?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to meet you. And yes, at the time we are speaking, it's late November, but you are very much prepared for Christmas.
Yes, I am. I just put up the tree and I'm about to make cookies actually, so I'll
Oh,
do that right after this.
which which sort of cookies?
They're like a cinnamon roll cookie with a
Ooh.
cream cheese frosting, and I'm obsessed. Like I've had made them 3 years in a row. It's tradition at this point, so
Okay,
and
well,
I'll probably eat them all.
there may well be people listening who bake. So, because I've actually not come across a cinnamon roll cookie before. So, is this a
Oh,
recipe that you found in your
yeah.
travels? Is it somewhat like, did you get it from a friend? Where did
It
you
was
find
just
it?
a random scroll through Facebook one day on my feed, like, and I was like, I need that now. So I made it at the time, and yeah, they were really good. I'll send you the recipe.
Okay, and it sets the festive mood,
Yes,
no
yes.
doubt. And you also have a fabulous top and a fabulous hat. I've just noticed there's something on your. So those of you who are listening, not watching, you're going to have to go to the video version of this to see the amazing feather in Joe's hat. Is this a hat you've had for a while? Did the feather come with the hat?
No, I collect feathers. I actually a lot of songs that I write have bird sort of, I don't know what you call it, not metaphors, but I guess kind of in a way I mention lots of birds throughout my music. I think it's just because to me it resembles freedom. And so, yeah, and I got feathers in the hair and that's sort of just my vibe. That's what I do.
Okay, fabulous. Do you have a favorite Australian bird?
I like crows. And I know that's weird, but they're like so what's the word? You know how you're driving and they're on the road and they're sort of sassy and they don't want to move? They're sort of
Yeah.
like, and they don't fly away in a panic, they strut. And I just like that it's like called a murder of crows. And I just think they're cool. Like, I love crows, they have attitude.
They do indeed, and yes, they very much won't be moved along. And there are some birds that kind of look like they won't be moved along, and then they take off. But crows very much are just like, nah, I don't think so. Uh,
Exactly.
so, so I understand that. Now you are in Port Lincoln in South Australia. Did you grow up there?
I did. I was born in Port Lincoln. I've lived here all of my 35 years. Yeah, so crazy. And my mum's actually the mayor of Port Lincoln.
Oh wow!
That's
And
how small it is.
you are very much embedded in the town then. So some people may know it as a fishing centre in South
Yep.
Australia. So I'm guessing that that's a big part of the town. But obviously for you, it's also been a place to become a musician. So is there a lot of live music happening in Port Lincoln?
Yeah, that we have so much local talent in Port Lincoln. I feel like the locals are really spoilt for choice. Like there's always talent, usually at the Port Lincoln Hotel, but yeah, there's bands and yeah, so much. So many great people.
Yeah. So is this where you started your performing life?
Yeah, yep. And I've sung since I was a very little girl, so always have. More so a joy thing throughout my family growing up. And my mum used to encourage it when I was in the bath because she knew I wasn't drowning if I was singing. So if I'd stopped singing in the bath, she'd come and check on me. So it's always been there, you know?
That's a really good tactic, actually. So were there, was it like, were you singing lullabies in the bath, or was there actually music that you loved even as a child that you were
I
singing?
love this question. So it was mainly intros to my favorite TV shows like My Little Pony,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
would make up the words. And I remember vividly being like, My little turtle, my little like, and just like, you know, and going through every animal that I could think of and just sitting like my mum, she must have been pulling her hair out because I just never shut up about it really. I just
Well,
always
except if I were her, I would probably have been thinking my child's very creative. She's coming up with all these variations on the My Little Pony theme.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was Achy Breaky Heart on Rage that really made me go. And I was two. And so
Oh,
I have a really good memory of certain points in my life. And I remember watching Billy Ray on Rage it was 1992 and I was two. And just like I vividly remembered Achy Breaky Heart. And I tell this story a lot because people are like, as if you remember that. But honestly, I do. And that from then, and it was like Shania came after that and all these things. So yeah, it's always been in me.
I think if there's something that's really formative, as that obviously was, then it would imprint on your memory. And so I totally believe that you remember that from two. But what I'm envisaging now is 2-year-old Joe singing "Achy Breaky Heart" around the house.
Yeah, and on my YouTube channel, there's actually a couple throwbacks. Like I wrote a song called Little Girl a few years ago, and my grandma used to follow me around with a video camera. She just loved that. And so there's a lot of old 90s throwbacks of me singing at like family birthdays and stuff. And yeah, it's just cute. It's nice to remember.
Yeah, that's lovely. So, obviously, our tastes change as we grow up, and the music we loved as a child is not necessarily what we love as a teenager. So, did you start to just stray beyond, shall we say, Billy Ray and Shania as you got older?
Yeah, I think I was 13 when I discovered Brad Paisley and the real storytelling of country music. But I love all genres. Like, I love everything from classic gospel to like heavy metal. So I'm very versatile, very eclectic. And yeah, and being like my ethnicity and heritage is Croatian. So we listen to a lot of world music and like Croatian music and Dutch music because my grandma's Dutch. And so all of that is usually factored into how I write.
Yeah, that is very interesting. And I know people of Croatian background, and I know that also there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history in being from the Balkans. There's history of that particular country. There's a whole lot of stuff that has gone on in that region. People can go and read about it if they want to. But I would
Yeah.
think that music is very much part of identity forming for people from Balkan countries.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So when you were at school, were you in a choir or a band?
Yep, always the nerdy choir chick that would give up lunchtimes to do music stuff. And when I was about 8 or 9, like I used to do a lot of dance as well. I did tap dancing, ballet, and all that kind of stuff till I was about 15. And vividly remember also like our teacher splitting one of our classrooms, half dancing, half singing. And when
Right.
she put me in the dance group, even though I loved dancing, I actually cried about it when I got home. I was like 7 or 8, you know. And yeah, my mum had to have a meeting with her to put me in the singing group because I just wanted to sing so bad. But yeah,
Well, look, I think it's important for artists to know their own nature, and clearly you understood yours.
yeah.
Singing was where it was going. So at a certain point, obviously you're doing a lot of singing. You would have picked up a guitar, I'm thinking. So at what age did that happen?
Yeah, so I have ADHD, so I'm not the guy who sits down and learns guitar. Like I didn't have I didn't want to sit down and dedicate myself, it's hard to sit down as it is in general. So when I was 10, I got my first guitar, but never dedicated time to learning it. So I'm a late bloomer with that. It's only been in the last 3 years where picking up a guitar really helps me songwrite. And I'm like, why didn't I stick it out? Really kicking yourself because I'm like, oh, I could be 25 years into the game, but no. Yeah, so we're still learning.
So given that you only started playing guitar recently, but you've been performing for over 15 years, I'm guessing that you've either performed like in a duo with a guitarist or you've had a band and you've been the front woman.
Yes, yeah, all of the above. My singing in public career started when I entered Port Lincoln's Got Talent at our local Tunarama festival. And like I've always sung, but it was never really on that scale. And I won that year. And because of that, I was introduced to a local producer who he has a studio and stuff. And then he really liked what I was doing. And we formed a duo really quickly. And then we had a band really quickly. So yeah, this was all when I was about 20. So yeah, it's been over 15 years. Yeah.
So did you say Tunarama Festival, as in
Yeah.
Tunarama?
Yeah, tuna rama.
Oh,
Like we do the tuna toss. The festival has run for over 60 years and it happens in January at the same time as TCMF. So I'll be at Tunarama in 2026, but the following year I hope to make it to Tamworth. So
I can't believe I've never heard of it, given that it's been going for 6 years. I did know because when I said Port Lincoln and fishing, I did know it was tuna, but I thought, oh, I won't say that just in case it's changed and it's a different
yeah,
fish now. But
yeah.
obviously, tuna is still the main business of Port Lincoln.
Yes, it is. And we're also Australia's seafood capital. So come down and have some amazing seafood.
And I believe there was a Port Lincoln tuna fisherman who won an Olympic gold medal. Was it for
Yes, Dean
weightlifting?
Lucan. Yep.
Yes.
And also Port Lincoln bred Makybe Diva as well through the Middle Cup. So we're known for little things like that. And Joe Page.
Yeah, I don't think those are any of those are little things actually. But I'm loving Tunarama, and so therefore, if anyone is in the Port Lincoln vicinity in January, there is a festival you can go to, and Joe will be performing there in 2026.
Yeah.
Now, so given that you have been performing live for quite a while, what do you love most about it, and has that changed over the years?
Yes, absolutely. It's such a strange, I'm a contradictory human where I love singing, but I don't love the spotlight, which is so bizarre. And so I will sing any day, anywhere. I love singing as a connection, kind of.
Mhm.
And that's why I got into songwriting because it was like I can connect with people on an emotional level through what I'm doing, like whether that's bringing them joy or making them cry or making them dance. Like there's that vibe exchange or that
Mhm.
energy that we exchange through music. And
Mhm.
so music makes me feel so deeply. And so I've always just wanted to, yeah, help other people to feel deeply as well, but also connect to me and my story and what I'm saying, just
Mhm.
like other artists have done that for me. So yeah, for me, it's like, yeah, it's that human connection that I really crave.
Yeah, and I guess it would be a challenging contradiction to feel like that about performing, that like you want that connection, you want to sing, but you don't necessarily want to be the
Yeah.
performer, if that makes sense, in front of an audience. But I'm wondering that energy exchange that happens with an audience, if that's actually helped you understand that even though it may not be your preferred thing to stand in front of people, it's a necessary part of it, and actually you can almost mold that energy in the course of your
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And I've grown to learn that it's nice to perform as well. Like so I'm very authentic, so I never really liked the whole like, oh, I'm going to dance or I'm going to do
Mhm.
these things that felt really inauthentic to me, like drawing the attention to myself. I just wanted to share song and sing. Like but then
Mhm.
I'm like I respect the fact that the audience wants something to look at or it looks a bit boring if you're just standing there or whatever it is, you try to give them the full experience. And I've really had to learn that and also unlearn a lot as well, because there's one thing where you can be a really good technical singer, but then there's like being an emotional singer as well.
Mhm.
So it's almost unlearning that perfection and then in like, what's that word I'm looking for? Evoking a little bit more of your soul into your music.
Yeah, I guess when you're coming from that technical side of it and thinking you want to be true to that, it can feel a little like jumping without a net to go with the emotion of it because you don't necessarily know where that will take you inside a phrase, let alone inside a song.
Yeah. Mm.
So you mentioned that you started playing guitar about 3 years ago, and it was partly to do with wanting to write some songs. So does that mean before playing guitar, you weren't doing a lot of songwriting?
No, I always did, but I always needed other people's help.
Okay.
So it was like, can you play me some chords and then I'll work out something, or I've got this lyric and can you work out something with me? It was always sort of that reliance on needing other people's input, but now I just do it all myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the past 3 years, therefore, have you been cranking out the songs?
Yeah, like hundreds. I've written hundreds of songs.
Oh, wow.
But like Ed Sheeran says, you got to write 100 songs to like find one gem. So I've only got a few gems and I'm just starting to let the world hear them now.
Okay. So that sounds like you're a fairly ruthless editor of your own output.
Absolutely. I'm very I sometimes I really have to get outside of my own head because I'll be like, that sounds really cheesy, or like my internal monologue is like, ugh, like who's gonna listen to that? Like you don't even want to listen to that. Why would you put that out there? So I'm always like, I'm very self-aware, but yeah, just always unpacking like, why did you do that? Could that be said better? Like overthinking to the max.
Well,
Driving myself
except
crazy.
I think it is good to have that ability to step outside and think, all right, how is that going to translate? That is quite a skill, and no doubt it's to do with the fact that you have spent a long time getting to know audiences.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about the music that I'm releasing now because it's like stuff that I would listen to. Like
Mhm.
I dropped an album in 2019 with one of my bands and um it wasn't like we didn't promote it. COVID hit,
Okay.
we couldn't tour it. Like there was all this yucky stuff happening at the time and it fell really flat. And in hindsight, I'm glad it happened because I learned a lot from that experience and a lot from the songs that I wrote in that era. But yeah, now when I'm listening to some music that I've written more recently, it's really something that I feel proud of because I love the songs. Yeah.
Well, I will get to the new song, but before we go there, I'm actually interested in your time at the Academy of Country Music in 2023, and I'm wondering why you felt that was the right time to go, because clearly you would have had the capability to go earlier.
Yeah. So it took me a long time to even learn that the academy existed.
Right.
I went to Tamworth when I was about 21 and I did a bunch of national song comps, and Rachel Farham was actually in one of the comps I did, and she took it out and she's amazing. Love her. And yeah, it's taken me, I guess, because of my, like I mentioned to you before, I'm sort of neurospicy. So for me and my trauma growing up, there's a lot of like self-loathing and that I had to really push through to believe in myself.
Hmm.
I come from that kind of a background. So like when it comes to like, you can do this, a lot of my mentals were telling me that I can't. So that's
Hmm.
why I'm a late bloomer, I guess. And I'm very passionate about mental health and yeah. I
Yeah,
can't
and
even remember your question.
no, that was about the academy, but because you've raised mental health, because I do have some questions about your mental health advocacy, because in 2020 you were given an award for this. So you were given the Active Citizen of the Year award at the Australia Day Awards.
I
Um,
actually have my little award right here.
oh, there you go. So, oh, it's a lovely looking award. And so,
Very
for people who are listening, not watching, Joe's held up the award to the camera. You can go onto the video to have a look at it. So, actually, let's talk about that now. So, please tell me a bit about your work in the mental health space and what you do and what form your advocacy takes.
I used to be in radio for 6 years and it was commercial radio. And so I would talk about community events that were happening pertaining to a specific organization in my area called Mentally Fit EP. And there was also another organization which was like the Suicide Prevention Network. And so I would promote all of their events and I would talk about the importance of having good mental health on air because I found that, as you would know, having a platform, you want to use it for good.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, would always draw attention to that. And I thought if I was talking about it and I could just make someone's day by sharing a nice quote or whatever, like it's my purpose. That's what I felt like. So, but then after radio, I worked out that I actually wanted to be a bit more hands-on and I
Mhm.
wanted to actually do the work instead of just talk about and promote the work. And so I began, I think it started through an organization called Taxi, who helped me like get on a path to then future proofing Mentally Fit EP because it's a not for profit. And
Mhm.
then the girl running Mentally Fit EP actually went on maternity leave and I stepped into her role for a year. So it was all these series of events that sort of lined up for me. And then since then, I've gone on to get certified and I used to work with kids in trauma, like Aboriginal children who have been removed. And yeah, lots of things like that. And now I'm a frontline domestic violence worker.
Okay.
I've worked in youth homelessness. Like I've seen a lot of different facets of, yeah, like hardship, basically. So I'm very passionate about that. And for me, music connects with that as well.
Yeah, and I was interested in that because I think music almost alone amongst art forms, I reckon, has the ability to connect with people in a very quick way because, of course, a song is
Mm.
3, 4 minutes long, and you can feel it even if you're not necessarily listening to the lyrics. You can feel a connection with a song the first time you hear it.
That's
So
right.
I'm wondering how your work as an artist may have influenced your work in the mental health space.
Both, yeah, like you say, like they feed into one another. And also I really like, as I mentioned before, the storytelling component of country music, and people have so many stories to share. And a lot of my music is about people's stories, not just my own and my own experience, but what I've observed in others. I'm quite a empathic person, I guess, and I think everyone's got a story to tell if we'll just sit and listen and yeah, have the
Mhm.
ears to hear. And in through sharing stories, we heal each other. Like I find it really cathartic like that. So,
Mhm.
mm.
Given the work you are doing now, I would imagine you need to take care of yourself quite a bit. So I'm wondering if the balance of performing actually helps you with that, in that it's even though it's something that's coming from within you, it is
Mm.
an externalizing thing in a way because you're offering it to a crowd. So yeah, I'm just interested in how you maintain that balance for your own mental health.
Yeah, hugely. I'm just still getting better at it, I think. I'm terrible at saying no. So this year I've said no to doing carols on the foreshore in Port Lincoln, but the last 2 years in a row I've organized, music produced, was the music director, all the things, plus the lead singer of the carols. So like there's just little things like I had to respect the fact that okay, I'm releasing music. I don't know how I've never done this before. I don't know how busy I'm going to be. I had to step back a lot.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've started to say no to a lot of things that aren't aligning to take better care of myself because I spiral when I'm really busy, never home. I used to work night shifts, like it used to be absolute chaos and didn't know where I was or so yeah, I'm a lot better at it now.
Yeah, and also I think respecting the fact that, as you said, you're neurospicy. It's good to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to the Academy of Country Music. You went in 2023. Now that was a cohort that included Amber Kenny, Joe Casely, Wade Forster. So
Yeah.
it would have been an interesting year, I think, to be there.
Huge year. Felicity Kircher, like, oh my gosh, like so many of my fellow Academy peeps have just done so many amazing things and I'm like wow, like I feel so proud of them and it was such a short Academy is such a great thing. Like I can't advocate for it enough. Like I think any country music artist needs to do it. It's hard to know how to navigate this industry. And so
Mhm.
like just it's a wealth of knowledge. I've learned so much, and honestly, what they helped me understand is why I'm on the road that I am now. So,
Right. Well, that's lovely. And yes, Lynn Botel, who's the Academy director, does an amazing job. Now, your single, Fire in His Eyes, which, as I mentioned at the top, does not seem like a first single because it's a really accomplished piece of work. It was co-written with Kevin Bennett, and I'm wondering if you met Kevin through Academy.
I did. Yeah, that's how the song came about. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So, what's the story behind it? Because I do know that it's about your father and your grandfather, I think, but I don't know any more than that.
Yeah, so Fire in His Eyes is about, it's based on a character that of how I envision my grandpa, who was a cowboy. But it's more, I suppose, the character of his like personality traits is a little bit more the history of my biological father. So, yeah, I can't really say a whole much more than that, but like give it a listen. It's a great story, and I like people to sort of work it out. And I also want you to experience it and think about like characters that your mind comes up with rather than my forced opinion of who it's about, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's musically rich, so you have a rich voice, but also it's musically rich. There are lots of great things going on there. It was produced by Matt Fell, so Matt is very popular. It's I completely understand why you would go with him, but there are other producers, so I'm wondering why Matt in particular for you.
I did a women in mentoring session, and Amber Lawrence was my mentor. And I said, "How do you choose a producer? Like, I don't know." And I knew when I wanted to record this song, I wanted potentially a Nashville player on it. And I'm like, "But I'm in Australia. How am I going to get a Nashville player on my track?" And Amber was like, "Listen and have a look at the credits on Spotify and see what artists are." Who they recorded with. And I listened to Amber's songs actually, and there was a particular song she did with Travis Collins, and I thought I really liked the production on this.
Mhm.
And then I did a bit of digging on Matt, and I saw that he works with people from Nashville, and I was like, no way. I was like, it's meant to be. So I messaged him, saw if I could fit into his timeline somehow, and then saved my butt off working and made a trip to Tasmania to record with him at Gowrie Park at Wilder, Tasmania, and that was a whole experience within itself. He's so brilliant. I was like, I am mind blown at how awesome you are. Yeah.
It seems that everyone who's going to Wilder to record with him is having an experience. He seems to have created a space where you're not just going to record a song. It's like this all-encompassing thing.
I can't recommend it enough. So good. Yeah.
It's,
Do it.
yeah, we're both giving an ad for Matt Fell at this point in time, I think. But as I said, he's popular and he's popular for a reason.
Yeah.
So, given that you travelled to Tasmania, I'm guessing you probably didn't record just the one song because you would have wanted to make the most of your trip. So, does that mean you have some more in the queue?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's a secret, but it's no secret at this point because, I'm pretty transparent like that. So, yes, there will be more.
And I'm also interested in why you decided to release this song first, because given that there were more and you've been writing a lot, even though as you said, you cull your selection of songs, you had to zero in on one to be the first. It's a significant moment. So why this one?
This one had the most direction, I guess. Like for me, I feel like it really puts into perspective who I can be as an artist, but also it's a standalone track. I feel like the other songs don't really sound like it. So I was like, what do I want the world's first impression to be of me, I guess? And I really wanted to respect my spaghetti western slash, ethnic heritage, all of these things in one song. And it's big, it's cinematic, it's the song I always wanted to hear.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was like, it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, this is it.
Yeah, cinematic is a great way to describe it, actually. So I
Mm.
would imagine that you have been working it into your set list. So now you do have a New Year's Eve show at the Port Lincoln Racing Club. Is this a show that you've played before?
No, I did something called the Old Town Country Road. There's like this Adelaide DJ, and he does like all these US hits where there's line dancing and stuff. And he came to Port Lincoln a month or so ago and had this really successful country music night. But there's a live music component to it as well, and so I did that. And then he's coming back on New Year's Eve, and we'll have the full band, not just acoustic, and it'll be good. Yeah.
I always think being a performer on New Year's Eve must be a very interesting position to be in because you can probably see the night disintegrating around you.
Yeah. Do you know what's weirder though? Like the amount of people that get married on New Year's Eve. Like I have sung so many gigs at a wedding on New Year's Eve, and I'm going, huh? Like, don't you people want to go be with like other family, And anyway, that one's always questionable to me.
Oh, that is interesting. Maybe they just think, well, people want to party anyway, so
Yeah, true.
we might as well do it then.
No judgment. A little bit of judgment.
Yeah. Well, so the song is, as you said, cinematic. I totally agree with that assessment. I love the spaghetti western element of it, and I think it's good to listen to it repeatedly because there are some details in the lyrics.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering for you as a songwriter now, given that this song is out and you have some others recorded, are you thinking of different directions for your songs? Do you feel like you've written some stories and now you can move on to others?
Yes. So, I mentioned to you briefly an album that I released with my previous band, and
Mhm.
we were almost going to call it Juxtaposition because no two songs sounded the same. And I'm
Mhm.
still giving that vibe. Like, even though they all fit into a country genre, you've got like country pop on one, you've got a country ballad, you've got like a country rock. There's just every one of them. So this one's more of a your country western, but then there's the flamenco, there's a rock aspect. Like I just can't sit still. I just can't niche myself. I'm like it fits country somewhere, but
Well, and I think if not fitting into any one niche is true to you as an artist, then it makes
Mm,
sense.
that's right. That's what I
Yeah.
like to think.
Yeah. Well, Joel, I'm going to leave you to your lovely Christmas tree and your fabulous hat,
Yes,
and
thank you.
I'm still thinking about Tunarama, but I'm not
Come
going
down.
to. It sounds pretty fun. But yeah, Joe, it was lovely to meet you. Thanks so much for your time.
Nice to meet you too, Sophie. Thanks for having me.